The new parts have arrived from the factory without issue. They'll be fitted to the car in time for the next session.
Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 111 today for the Monaco Grand Prix in Season 6. If you guys did miss the previous episode, the Spanish Grand Prix, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. Quite an enthralling one there, with a Red Bull-Honda duel between myself and Max Verstappen. But head into now this episode, round number 6 of Season 6 here, the Monaco Grand Prix. As you saw there, 2 updates of the car, the minor front and rear downforce attached, but Renault come with updates, and equally so both Mercedes and Toro Rosso. So a lot of improving there. But you can see Renault annoyingly keep improving at the same rate we are. They've had a minor and a major upgrade, I think that is, it looks like, and then we've had 3 minors and kind of 1 major so far in the season. But pretty much the gap is staying put there between us, and actually Mercedes and Toro Rosso are the ones catching people, because Mercedes get so much closer to us than they ever have been before, with Toro Rosso also streaking ahead of McLaren. So that could be interesting to see if Hamilton and Hülkenberg in the Silver Arrows catches up to us, and maybe they're a threat in the race today, this weekend. I was kind of thinking maybe Monaco would be a very good one for us, because obviously last time out at Spain, it's a chassis car dependent sort of circuit there, and we went very well. We were battling for the 1-2. It was a 1-2 in the end, spoiler alert there. And so I thought Monaco, kind of typically like real life, Red Bull would have an advantage here, and so I was looking forward to that. But now, I don't know, maybe Renault are still going to be pretty good with their upgrades, and also maybe, I don't know, Mercedes and Toro Rosso get into the mix as well with their updates. But we get through Q1, that's a formality there, into Q2, and Verstappen up there in P3. You can see Hamilton is right up there in P2, so Mercedes might actually be a threat, or at least maybe one of those guys, because it looks like Hamilton has the measure over Hülkenberg so far this season in that Mercedes in Season 6. We'll have to see about that. But we go into Q2 then, a little bit of a lock-up, and the car not exactly feeling completely planted. It never really does around Monaco, because it's such a tight, twisty circuit. You're on the edge of grip trying to get the maximum out of the car, so the car's always sliding about. You're trying to dance it through the streets of Monaco, so it wasn't exactly as planted as it was in Spain, or as I would like it to. And we go across the line, we will actually make it into Q3 with only 1 lap time done there, so very good to only have 1 lap that gets us through to the top 10 shootout. But pretty much the same similar pattern there of Renault topping the session, Mercedes P2, Verstappen P3, so genuinely it looks like Mercedes might be a bit of a challenge here. And so let's go into the top 10 shootout and see what's what. We have 2 runs here now with 2 new sets of Hypersoft tyres. The first run wasn't too great. You can see they're hit with a bit of understeer into turn 1. It was very weird. The car felt a little bit worse off in Q3 than ever did in Q1 and Q2. I'm not too sure about that. Sainz now goes fastest there, so once again he was fastest in Q2. So let's see if he can top that and remain here in the top 10 shootout as we go through the last 2 corners. And again, you can see a sense of understeer. The car really didn't get turned in, especially on that last corner, as much as I wanted to the wall. And so in the end, we're down in P9 as we start our second run and last run in the top 10 shootout. Then immediately into turn 1, we're going to take that corner a little bit more aggressively there and gain about nearly 2 tenths on the exit of turn 1. So already a better lap time. We have to try and gain, though, quite a fair bit if we want to try and get this towards the front row of the grid. Of course, this is the most important qualifying pretty much of the entire season, I would say, to be honest. So we need to try and do the best job we can, wrestling the car through the right-hander there on the curbing, through to the tunnel, and eventually swinging through Raskas, then towards the last corner. They're getting a lot closer to the curbing there on this second run. We've gained over a second here on this second flying lap across the line. That'll be good enough for P3 there, just behind Max Verstappen. And it's Daniel Ricciardo with a pretty commanding pole position there on the front row. But at least myself and Verstappen are right there for the taking. So at the very start of the race, we might have an opportunity to jump Ricciardo maybe. Once again, Sainz really not doing a great job at matching his teammate Ricciardo there, so he really needs to pick up the pace. Last season's championship rival of mine has really been falling asleep, especially on Saturdays so far, and Gasly does really well to get ahead of Hamilton in P4 there. So Honda 2, 3, 4, so it might be a very good day for Honda once again at Monaco. But traffic's going to be a big issue. We're going to have to hope for a very good start to maybe jump Verstappen and even maybe Ricciardo. We'll have to see about that, but it's Monaco. It's always going to be very tricky. But let's go to the grids and see how it goes out.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars climb around 40 metres up through Beau Rivage, onto the casino, and then descending down towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of the 19 corners here, 7 to the left and 11 to the right. There's one single DRS zone as well, so don't expect that to make overtaking any easier today.
Let's take a look then at the starting grid for the Monaco Grand Prix, round number 6 of Season 6 of the F1 2018 career mode, with Daniel Ricciardo having a very good day yesterday in his Renault Works car in first place, ahead of Max Verstappen in the first of the Red Bull Hondas on the front row. Then myself in third place, with Pierre Gasly in fourth in the Toro Rosso Honda. Esteban Ocon takes up the next row with Carlos Sainz, with Nico Hülkenberg and Charles Leclerc behind, and rounding our top 10 is Kimi Raikkonen and Sergio Perez. Magnussen, Hartley, Van Dorn next, with Hamilton in 14th with a grid penalty. Grosjean P15 with Bottas in 16th, Vettel 17th, and Alonso down in 18th with a penalty, with the two Williams rounding out the last row. Let's go to the duel in the Formula 1 calendar. Right, so here we are on the grid then in P3, Verstappen there in P2 just to the left of us on the front row. The default strategy is a 2-stop. We have gone historically for 1-stops around here to a set of super soft tyres, although this year it looks like with the Red Bull car it benefits a bit more from an aggressive strategy, so I might actually go with this 2-stop for once at Monaco. We'll play it by ear and see what the situation is like with traffic maybe, but here we go then to 5 red lights. So round number 6 of Season 6 here in the F1 2018 career mode, the duel in the Formula 1 calendar. The Monaco Grand Prix is underway. The lights are out. It's a good start for us. An even better one for Max Verstappen. Around the outside he goes of Daniel Ricciardo now. They battle into turn 1 for P1 in this Grand Prix. Up the hill, Ricciardo just about has the advantage and cuts ahead of Verstappen there. So Ricciardo maintains the lead, and so that might have been Verstappen's best chance, to be honest, in his opening sequence of laps to maybe get the lead, because now it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be the classic Monaco scenario. It's going to be very tough to pass around here, and I don't think Verstappen is going to have maybe the guts to do it. You know, the AI, Verstappen's AI might be quite aggressive, but I don't think he's going to be that aggressive. And already now, as we move on now later into lap number 5 onto lap 6, you can see the minimap there, Ricciardo is already bolted actually. That's his car already through turn 1 up the hill. We're just coming through turns 1 now, and we're right on the back of Verstappen. So Verstappen's actually effectively holding us up a little bit. I feel like genuinely I could go past it if Verstappen wasn't there, but at the moment I just can't get past him. We move on to lap 6. Ricciardo is now in the pit lane on the minimap, you can see. So we're up into second place. Verstappen up into P1 now. So it's another 1-2 for Red Bull Honda for now on lap 7. But Verstappen will come in right now. We'll stay out one more lap there. The tyre wear is kicking in, but we do have some pace, like I said. I felt like that entire 7 laps, I could have gone a lot faster if Verstappen wasn't there. But obviously, I can't do much about that if I can't actually get past him. And I just didn't find any room to do that. I couldn't get close enough. And also through the last corner, I wasn't getting the exact run I wanted to actually make a DRS pass into turn 1, unfortunately. And I don't think I've actually ever made many passes into turn 1 actually on this year's game on Monaco on F1 2018. So we come in then on the next lap. We've done a pretty good in-lap though, so we might have a good chance, maybe, if Verstappen got held up in any bit of traffic, we might be able to just jump him on an overcut. Let's see as we pray in the cockpit as we go down the pit lane now to the exit. Watch out on the left-hand side there. Where is Ricciardo and Verstappen going to be? I think that's Verstappen's car coming through. Yeah, Ricciardo's already passed on the minimap, but here we go into turn 1. We're going to be side by side momentarily, but Verstappen does get out ahead ultimately, so he just came out ahead, and so near enough. I think the gap was maybe shortened a little bit, but really in the end it's pretty much all as level as it was. So at the moment on track is a Force India of Ocon, I believe, in first place, with Van Dorn second, both of them choosing to be on the ultra soft tyres. But then as we go through the Grand Prix, the Force India's pit. Van Dorn though continues on in the lead of this Grand Prix on ultra soft tyres, so the harder, the middle compound tyre, and he's at the moment holding up Ricciardo, so that might be quite good as us two Red Bulls chase after Ricciardo. But also equally, I'm trying to get past Verstappen if I can, but all the while Van Dorn might just be backing up Ricciardo into us two, so that might be very good, and that gives me even more incentive to try and get past Verstappen if I can, because if Van Dorn does back Ricciardo up into us, then I'm going to be right in the back of first place effectively nearly. So we try our best, we're trying everything, but I just can't get that run through through the last turn onto turn 1, and then through we move later into the Casino Square. Now this is on another lap, and I'm trying my best to hustle and harry Verstappen. We might have a go actually into Mirabeau. Maybe we're going to have a little bit of a dive down the inside there, nose noses in there. A little bit of contact made, but ultimately Verstappen's able to keep it through at the hairpin. And so frustration now is kicking in. It's literally been about 15 laps at this stage that I've been trying to get past Verstappen, and I just can't do it. And there's no team orders here. It's too early in the season to kind of interact team orders. And of course, even if I wanted them, Verstappen's the one leading the championship, not me. So at this stage, frustration really kicks in to a point where lap 20, I'm just going to send one down the inside. We work it out down the inside of Raskas. It's a close move there. A little bit of an oversteer moment on the exit. And once again, big tank slapper into the last turn. Verstappen, though, has a good run. Even though we've got DRS, he goes around the outside. We defend again to turn one very aggressively. We do make that stick. We're up into P2. And so that was a very opportunistic move, a bold move there into Raskas. But we made it work. The infamous Raskas down the inside pass has worked out. We're up into P2. Van Dorn, I would say, has actually auto pit already onto Supersofts for his one stop. So if he doesn't get hit with any traffic right now, he might have a good chance of still coming out in the lead this Grand Prix once all of us make our second stop, as Ricciardo is now in for his pit stop. Verstappen also follows the Aussie man in on that lap. The former Red Bull teammates coming at the same time. So lap 22 now, we put this up into hot lap mode, rich mix, and we try and push as hard as we can to once again try and close up on Ricciardo maybe with a good overcut here. So here we come in now on lap 22 onto lap 23. Van Dorn, you can see, is in P2, so he has already got ahead of Ricciardo. So after we make our pit stop, Van Dorn is actually going to be legitimately leading this Grand Prix through a one stop. So, arguments that the one stop could have worked out for us, but I just don't know about that, because we had a lot of pace actually to make this more aggressive stop work, and I would have rather gone a bit more safely on the tyre wear, because the Red Bull definitely seems like it has more tyre wear than the Ferrari did in my Season 4 and Season 5 stints. So we come out now and just behind Ricciardo, but we maintain the gap then, so we haven't lost any time, but we didn't gain too much time on that overcut there. So we're out in P3 now, Verstappen P4, Ricciardo P2, and Van Dorn in P1. So will Van Dorn back Ricciardo into me? That is the question. We're on lap 23 now. Remember, I'm on a faster set of tyres actually. Look at the top left. Ricciardo is on super softs and I'm on ultra soft tyres, so we might have a very good chance of getting him under traction as we go wide on purpose into Raskas, cut in harder into the entry and exit, and here we go to the inside of the last corner. We've got it down the inside there. Ricciardo over the bump, and we're up into P2, but that Renault power is going to see Ricciardo dive around the outside then, get me back, but he locks up badly, and he's gone really wide. He's hit the wall. Oh, it's a huge crash between Verstappen and Ricciardo. It's a T-bone collision for Verstappen and Ricciardo, and it's all gone horribly wrong for my teammate, the championship leader, and Daniel Ricciardo there with a bad mistake lock-up. Surprised there's no safety car, because that looks like a bit of a pile-up situation there. So let's look at a replay. Absolutely crazy stuff there. Ricciardo with a big old lunge, gets it all wrong, locks up, hits the wall, and then, Verstappen just comes in at the wrong angle, doesn't see Ricciardo, blindsided, spins round with a T-bone. That's a very bad way to do a 6-point turn, Verstappen, I must say. I think you need to redo your driving test there, mate, as Ricciardo is just stuck there waiting for Verstappen to get through. Actually parked up for a little bit. There is the, what was it, P5 at the time, was the Force India of Esteban Ocon, I think there is. But here's a replay now on board. So really nice move for us down the inside though, I must say. Great, beautiful traction off Raskas. But then Ricciardo gets it all wrong there. Big double lock-up. He's lucky not to completely end his Grand Prix in the wall there. Straight to turn one. But then Verstappen comes through and plows through. And what a sight to see there. The Red Bull completely blocking the entire track. So I was very surprised there's no safety car for this very moment here of them blocking the track like that. But I mean, they get it through fast enough, I guess, for the other cars to get through. But on board now with Verstappen, he's completely blindsided, I guess. Yeah, he was already coming through turn one's apex way too quickly, and Ricciardo came in at the last minute, so that's how he just didn't back out of that. So really unlucky there for the championship leader. So we are now up into P2. Van Dorn P1. Now the safety car comes out though, and we narrowly missed hitting the wall because I got so spooked by the safety car coming out. I almost hit the wall there. Had to engage the reverse gear, and this is why, because as we go on through the lap, Verstappen crashes into the wall with no front wing. I suspect, Ricciardo is going to do the same thing. Both of them crash in the same area of the track, and now this is a pile-up at Monaco. It's in the same near place we had a pile-up in Season 4, I believe, and the Williams comes through. He crashes out. The other Williams crashes out. You've got the two Ferraris stacking at the Toro Rosso. It is a bloodbath here. The Force India is going to come through. It's hard to give you a full perspective with a replay camera because unfortunately every time an AI car ghosts, it goes off the camera. But you can see there how many cars have come through and are driving. Look at that. That is just like 10 cars in one shot there driving through the chaos. And so ultimately what that means is 6 cars are out of this Grand Prix now as we go on to the restart of the safety car. Van Dorn still P1, I'm P2, but it's only 14 runners now remain at the Monaco Grand Prix. Absolute bloodbath there. Not as much as season 4, but still quite a fair bit. Now we now go green through the last corner, very quick on the throttle to try and get on the back of Van Dorn. We're on a faster set of tyres than Van Dorn, so we should in theory have the pace to maybe overtake him. We have to watch out for that though, because he's going to have some pretty good acceleration. The Honda in the back of the Toro Rosso car has been a little bit better on the acceleration, and the traction front I've never been too great at that versus the AI, so we'll see. But at the moment you can see how close we're getting up to, literally touching his gearbox there through Casino Square. And in third place actually on the road, well in third place is Ocon, but on the road right behind me is actually Sebastian Vettel, because he's been lapped in this Grand Prix. So the Ferrari car just made a pit stop just literally before the safety car, so he's on fresh tyres actually. So Vettel is going to be also hounding me a little bit and pressurising me to maybe try and unlap me as we go on through the laps. Then lap 31, 8 laps to go, still not past Van Dorn, still not got a way around him, and a very bad hairpin there. I took a bit too much curbing and that kind of lifted the car up there, so Van Dorn gets away from me as we go through then towards the tunnel section. Look how clear Vettel is right up behind me. He's actually got a lot of pace now on these fresher tyres, remember, and he looks like he might send one down the inside. Yes, he will. Vettel trying to unlap himself. Oh, he's hit us! Vettel, what have you done? Vettel, that is not on. Vettel's just hit us now, and we've got damage to our front wing. Sebastian Vettel in the rather slow Ferrari tries to unlap us on fresh tyres. Fair play, but this is not on. He hits the wall himself, and in doing so induces some damage on us. And so Vettel, what a muppet, man. Come on. I literally said last episode I have no bad blood with Sebastian Vettel, my former teammate from last season. We worked really well. I enjoyed having him as a teammate, but he goes and does that now. That was just not needed. Absolutely ridiculous. So now we've had to make an extra pit stop here to change that front wing, because with 7 laps to go, that front wing damage is going to be like an eternal struggle there. So I had to make a pit stop to change the front wing onto a set of hyper soft tyres now. And so pretty much now the goal is we try and push as hard as we can and try and catch up any positions we can. We're in P12 now. As we go on towards lap 34, we set a purple lap time though, so we've got a lot of pace now on these fresh Hypersoft tyres. Vettel though also goes faster, so I don't know how Vettel's doing that in a very slow Ferrari this season. He's working his magic, clearly, the 4-time world champion. So we're in P11 and we catch up now to Pierre Gasly, the Toro Rosso. So unsurprisingly, actually, we are now behind another Toro Rosso in this Grand Prix, although it's not for first place this time. It's for P10. This will be the first of the points paying positions, and we can't actually send one down the outside of Raskas there on Gasly on lap 34. We've got 5 laps left. We're getting very desperate and need to make this pass very soon. So as we go through Mirabeau now into the hairpin, a bit of a domino effect, because look at the big old train. We dive down the inside of Gasly and Hamilton. It's going to be a very, very nice opportunistic double move there into the hairpin up into P9 this will be, because you can see in the minimap there, there's a huge train, because I think second place and third place are the 2 Force Indias, and they just don't have too much pace around Monaco. And so we dive down the inside of Marcus Ericsson into Raskas there. It's like taking candy from a baby there, and we're up into P8 now, so we're making some real swift progress. And so if we're lucky, I don't know, we could find ourselves all the way back near to where we were before the incident with Vettel and the crash there, with about 4 laps to go now in this Grand Prix. Grosjean is the next one up there, as you can see the Force Indias are clearly holding up this train, because Van Dorn is nowhere near this train, and at the front of those are 2 pink dots there, the Force Indias. So we dive down the inside of Grosjean there, up into P7. Very nice move in Mirabeau, and then we get caught up behind Carlos Sainz. Now Sainz might be a little bit harder to overtake, because although he's getting held up by the 2 Force Indies and the McLaren of Alonso, I think that is, he is still in a Renault. And so we go on to the last lap of the Grand Prix, and indeed it will be the Belgian man Stoffel Van Dorn in his new Toro Rosso Honda car this season that wins the Monaco Grand Prix. So fair play to him, very good strategy, and kept it calm this entire race. Meanwhile for us on the last lap here, last 2 corners down the inside of Raskas for one last time there, catches Carlos Sainz napping in the Renault there, and we're up into P6 on the last lap, lap 39. Opportunistic moves there, and we make a good recovery up into P6, but ultimately left with a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, to be honest.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Toro Rosso. So, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
A reliable car, that was the most important factor here. This was a real battle of attrition, and you could tell those at the front were trying to find a balance between running their outright pace and taking care of the car to reach the end.
My team actually seemed pretty happy with that. My engineer was congratulating me on P6, so I guess obviously compared to Verstappen's race, that was a pretty good drive actually, a good recovery from that crash with Sebastian Vettel, but ultimately Van Dorn gets the win and 2 Force Indies on the podium, so another chaotic and crazy Monaco Grand Prix. Monaco really has been one of the craziest tracks on the calendar in this year's 2018 game there, but you can see we lead now the Drivers' Championship. We're actually 1 point ahead of Verstappen only there, so very fine margins, but both of us have a bit of a gap then to Carlos Sainz, who moves up into 3rd place in the championship there. We maintain the lead in the constructors with Force India getting back ahead of Mercedes. So Force India, although they're way down the performance chart order compared to Mercedes and Toro Rosso, they're giving Mercedes a good run for their money, and they might even maybe try and challenge Toro Rosso if they get lucky like this a bit more often there. And McLaren really aren't anywhere despite being right up there with Mercedes and Toro Rosso on the performance chart. We're still down in P6 there, just ahead of Haas, and they're still lagging behind. So very, very odd stuff there in the Constructors' Championship in terms of the midfield fight, quote-unquote midfield fight, I guess you could say. But we'll go to the end of the episode then and talk to Claire just before we round out the episode with some upgrades.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You're first in the championship. You must be confident about winning it this season.
Going to go with the answer on the left-hand side. I don't think I've ever answered this question that way on the left-hand side there. I don't want to skip to the end of the championship. I want to enjoy the entire thing, the ups and downs and everything.
So talk us through what happened between you and your rival today.
Obviously got Carlos Sainz right at the end there. We had a great rivalry last season, so I have good respect for him. So I'm going to go with the right-hand side answer there. He's a great opponent, really.
Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash?
Now, I think this question was about the Sebastian Vettel crash. I wasn't quite sure, so I almost didn't answer this with a no comment, but in the end I went for the bottom answer, that we can't take too many scrapes like this, and so that'll affect our durability department.
Appreciate your time.
But now we go on to the end of the episode then, and despite beating Verstappen in the race, we actually lose the rivalry with Verstappen there for the first time as teammates there. At the moment, though, we lead the one with Carlos Sainz, I think that was, or actually I think we might be losing by a tiny margin, and we don't actually get the team goal of scoring, I think it was 28 points or more, unfortunately, so that's a bit annoying for the contract's sake. But in terms of upgrades then, we've got enough points to purchase one minor upgrade here, so I'm going to go for ERS here on the engine power, because ERS has definitely been an issue for us this season, you know, compared to last season where I had all the ERS upgrades pretty much, and it was so easy to manage. I had hot lap mode pretty much the entire race. I can't afford to do that this year. I have to really manage it quite a lot, so I want to try and get away from that and give us more electrical power through the race, so I went for the minor upgrade there. We can't afford anything else, but that's a good minor to have going into the Canadian Grand Prix, where you would like to think we're going to use a lot of hot lap and overtake mode there, so that'll be quite useful. And like I said, for now, I'm still set on going for more performance upgrades and kind of having a more brittle car. Towards the end of the season, maybe I'll try and look into more reliability cases, but for now, I'd rather still have that mantra of going fast, but having a kind of, you know, weak car maybe in reliable terms there. But guys, if you did enjoy that thoroughly entertaining and chaotic Monaco Grand Prix once again, then be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, to subscribe for weekly forum content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.